Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. How can we help you?
We get an application for a job here.
Yes, we got applications. Right now, business is a little slack. Lois, you got an application over there?
Did you bring your own pen?
Fill out this application and let us know where you worked before and how long you worked on the job and put your phone number and everything, and then we'll see where you fit in. We'll fill out the application and then we'll go from there. We'll make a few phone calls and then we'll advise you.
Sit down and fill it out. Be sure and have a number that we can reach you at. If you need something to write on, I can give you that too.
All of these applications ask the same things. Where did you work and where did you go to school?
Why so many?
Well, I've been asking for applications all over. I figured there's lots of people starting out just like me. I'm trying to even out the odds.
Yeah.
Man, they're gonna take one look at the blank spaces under my job experience and toss this in the trash.
All right. Look, this application is basically all they get to decide whether they want to see more of you, right?
Right. I suppose lying is out. What?
I'm serious. You have too much going on to make stuff up, and they do check into those things. We just have to take what you have and make it look gorgeous.
An application presents an employer with a picture of who you are. It's a screening tool. In this program, we look at job applications, how employers use them, how to fill them out, and what to pay attention to when applying for jobs. For more information on job applications, check the chapter Applying for Jobs in the workbook that goes with this series.
Screen is just when, out of, say, an average Thursday, which is our open application day, we see maybe anywhere from 50 to 100 candidates. Well, it's like maybe a 2-minute process where we can determine whether or not this person should go on to meet a department or whether this person should be placed in our files.
We'll also check references. We'll look at the application and try to pick up on a few of the jobs that they've had, things that they've done as far as their hobbies.
We're looking for qualified people to progress with our operation, that's all.
When I go put in applications, I see why they don't hire me because I'm not filling out an application right.
And if they don't like what they see on that application, they're going to throw it out. You won't get a second at. That's what we learned. Right. We won't get a second interview.
What can I do for you?
I'm Lamar Burns. Filled out an application. I can turn it in.
Okay, just put it over there on the pile.
So, can you tell me when you'll make a decision about the job?
Well, I got a lot of applications to look through. It won't be till the end of the week.
Okay, so I can call you Friday?
You got your number down, right? I'll call you if I'm interested.
Okay. Thanks. Good luck with the car.
Application forms are short and to the point. They ask for basic information: name, address, telephone, social security number, what schools or training programs you've attended, where you've worked, how long you've worked, and then names and addresses of people to contact as references. List all your recent employment, even if you think the job wasn't important or you were volunteering. Be neat and complete, so you stay in the in pile.
Every application asks about my job experience. You know I haven't worked in forever, Donnell. Nobody's gonna want to hire me.
Hey, no job experience. That's the problem. But, well, let's think about what you do every day. You know, I mean, what you do to make ends meet. Okay, for instance, I know you don't get paid for it, but I think you should put down your volunteer work at the pantry.
Donnell.
You've been keeping their books for over a year now.
That's not a job, it's volunteering. I haven't taken any classes in bookkeeping. I don't think I'm qualified.
It's volunteering, but you've been doing it, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you're good at it. Besides, if they call and check on it, I know that Reverend Skinner will say you're perfectly qualified. I mean, look, the experience shows that you're honest and organized, dependable, and obviously really good at math. I think you should list it.
Well, I don't know. I don't have anything else to put down. You're right, Donnell. Reverend Skinner would say nice things about me.
If you can get your foot
in the door, it's left up to you to shine the way that you need to shine. If you shine well enough, somebody will notice you and you will get the attention, but you have got to apply yourself.
The OWEP manager over in Child Support Division asked if I could volunteer my services there, and he said, sure. I'm getting an opportunity to get into the workforce, which I'd never had the opportunity to before because I never had no work experience. And this has really just gave me the confidence that I can do it.
She didn't think that she possessed any skills. To fill out an application and you get to where it says work experience, and if you're left with, I have none, or the ones that she does have, she wasn't even aware that she had. She had time management. She had done timekeeping when she had been working with her husband. She had customer relations. And when she sees all that she actually possesses, then it boosts her self-esteem. Then she got to a point where she actually believed in herself. And it takes a while to get there, but she believes in herself, and now that she does, she can apply herself so she can go into a workplace knowing who she is within.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Preston, and I was calling about the ad in the paper about a part-time file clerk. The ad only mentioned this number. Can you tell me how I could apply for that position?
Yes, an application, resume, and interview are all a part of the screening process. So is following instructions. When you see a want ad or posting for a job you want, keep track of the application procedure in your job notebook.
Great, and do I just send this application back to you? Okay. Is there any way you can send me a copy of the job description? Great. Is there a deadline for the application to be returned?
Some ads will say, apply in person at our offices. Others will give a phone number to call. And some will ask you to send in a cover letter and resume. Do what they say. Different companies have different procedures.
We look for gaps in their employment. It tells us if this is a person that's job hopping, that's running from one job to another job, and that could be an indication that there could be many implications from that.
I wasn't looking over the application when I go fill out the application. I'm rushing, trying to do it to give it to. I did not see that little fine print under there, and she pointed that out to us on some application. I might have missed it on a lot of applications I done filled out.
The application is something which is handed to you by the company, which you fill out, and they might have specific questions that they want answered. Besides giving your educational and work background, they might have some short essay questions involved. And we also go over those, and we talk to the clients about ways to answer questions. For example, why do you want to work for this company? A lot of times the first thing they say is, I just want a job, or I need a job. They don't realize talking about the company maybe as being a stable company in that industry, or providing good customer service or some kind of reputation. We teach them how to answer those types of questions. And just simple rules like never leave anything blank on an application, know all your dates and addresses and phone numbers and your old supervisor's names.
When they ask you what high school you go to and the location, I will put the high school and try to think of the address, but it's not that, it's Chicago, Illinois, you know?
I put over 100 applications all over Chicago. I'm trying to find out why I'm not getting called. And I found out once I came here. The little sloppy, I mean, they don't want to look at that. The sloppy handwriting, misspelled words, you know.
The application is very important, and I drilled about the application is your first interview. Nobody would ever tell you that, but it's your first interview. Your paper interview is your first one.
Honesty is the best policy. Because, and we have had an example, and it wasn't an entry-level position. It was someone that had said he had a degree, and okay, so we made him an offer, and we did the background check, and you know, we started to do the education on. I guess he got cold feet, and he said he had tested and everything. And he said he called us up and he said, you know, I'm really sorry for wasting your time. I don't have a degree, and I'll pay for the testing that I've taken, and you know, I really apologize. And so that like put things really in a different light. You know, it's like when someone comes up and says, okay, this is not true, you know, rather than letting us go, because we've had people that let us go through the whole process.
Many employers check the information you provide. Problems on previous jobs, lack of experience, even criminal histories don't necessarily disqualify you from a lot of jobs. Lying on an application usually does.
I've placed 36 young men and women, outside walk-ins, public aid, and Metro. My bulk of my clients, like 95% of them, come from Metro. Metro men are first-time offenders. Young men comes from the pretty much drug cases, stealing, car theft, basically, and the system put them in like a called boot camp to try to get them reestablished back to the society. And we step in to put them through a training program, which is Strive, so that we can rehabilitate them, basically, well, pretty much letting them rehabilitate themselves.
Myself, I am an ex-convict, and I've been incarcerated twice in a penitentiary, and I've been in numerous jails. Is right up front with most employers, especially those who are dealing with entry-level positions, to be more or less honest, you know. Say, I've been incarcerated, and I've had these problems. However, you know, emphasize that you are dealing with them. And the shortage of labor, especially in entry-level jobs, is so pervasive through our whole society right now that most employers are more than willing to look at what you've done in the past as opposed to what you're trying to do right now. And their need for labor is so great that they generally will take a chance on that. And if they don't, then the persistence we talked about earlier comes in. Just go to the next job.
I got a feeling conviction. There's good jobs out there, but the only things top people say, well, you got a feeling we can't hire you.
If they have had a problem, that still doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to consider you for a position. You need to be as honest with me as possible. You need to show me that you're self-motivated. If you had a job-related conviction and you didn't put it down, it's grounds for immediate termination because it's considered falsification of an application.
I want a normal, everyday job, just make it, even 8 hours, you know, $8 an hour job would do me. Where I can go pay my rent and just have food in my refrigerator.
A lot of the young men been working in the kitchen, that's food service. Those are skills they've been acquiring while they're away. Boot camp, household, they've been doing cleaning, house cleaning, which is cleaning the dormitories. Those are skills that we've been trying to bring out within those young men so that they can still apply without being looked down upon.
I'm looking for what they've done in the past as far as if, say, for instance, they've worked at several fast food restaurants, then I'm looking for, if I have a deli position to fill, I'm interested in food experience, working with the machinery and things of that nature, customer service skills.
They work in customer service, they're working on ships, boats, gambling boats, they're working on boats downtown on Navy Pier, doing really well. Tell them first thing, what are you going to do when you walk in? And first thing they say, I'm going to smile. Good. Second thing you do, you get up, you shake their hand, you greet them with a smile. You know, the third thing you do, after you get in there, you ask them, you know, you wait till they ask you to be seated. You know, you go through the ritual with them so that they can understand that you're here for yourself and your family.
What employers don't want to deal with is an individual that fails to show up for work, feels like the work is demeaning to him, that you know, more or less sees it as a job and not a possibility for advancement. Attitude is the key element in life, period, and certainly the key element in advancing in any sort of employment.
Mingling with outside of their community, they showing them that there's life besides the prisons and the streets. You know, get them off the streets, and that's our main focus, to keep them focused and keep them occupied, their mind, keep it stimulated at this present time, and it has been.
If you're worried about a gap in your employment history, or what an ex-boss might say about you, or any other problems, be ready to discuss them in an interview. If you're honest, most people will give you the benefit of the doubt.
Well, Lamar, your application looks pretty good to me. What do you say about taco takeout? They could see only 3 months on the job and think that you're not dependable.
I don't know what else to do. Do you think I should just leave it off?
If you do, they're going to see a gap, and that might look worse. You don't have that many jobs. No, I'd say, be honest. List it.
Well, what do you want me to say? That I hated my job? I hated the people? I hated the pay? Don't just love hearing that, Mr. Nichols.
I think I'd work on the phrasing a bit, Lamar. Why don't you try this? The job wasn't in my field of expertise, or I discovered what I really wanted to do was work on cars, so I quit the job to do that. No, I think it's important to tell the truth here. At the same time, put a positive spin on it.
Yeah, okay. I can do that, Mr. Nichols.
You want to present yourself as someone that's going to be an asset to this employer. And that doesn't mean that you're going to walk in and present yourself as a bank president when you're applying for a job as a laborer, but present yourself as a competent laborer or a competent food service worker, someone that will show up on time, and someone that has an interest in advancing in the job, someone that has an interest in being an asset to the individual that's going to hire you.
What you know may be valuable, but unless you list it, an employer won't know about it. Spend some time filling in the special skills section of an application. Think about job training you've had, school achievements, volunteer work. List computer programs you know, machinery you operate, your typing speed, foreign languages you speak, even leadership recognition.
Any skill that you get from any job is basically important. It might have been a task that you had, that you performed over those 4 months that we need here at Olson. And if you don't let us know all your job skills, you could get passed over to the next candidate who did take the time to give us that information.
We look for the work experience, what kind of work they've done, the specific skills they've used in the job, and different tasks that they've done as well.
I see where you're placing your pantry work on the application.
Yeah.
That's a good idea, Cheryl.
Thanks, Aunt Loretta, but I still don't know what they want for extra skills. That I can raise a 9-year-old child, that I can mop floors and wipe noses?
I think they may want to know about the other things that you can do, like use the computer, your work with the spreadsheets, and remember ordering groceries at the pantry. You can put that down. That should go there. We just have to think about what to call it.
Maybe we should call Reverend Skinner. I should call him anyway. I need to ask him if he minds my using his name as a reference.
That's a great idea. Now, I tell you what, let's take this application and redo it because it's a mess.
Thanks, Aunt Loretta. I'm glad you're here.
Have any references, maybe cut lawns, or any kind of references, business, if you don't, personal, that could give us a reference that you are a willing to work person.
When you go in to volunteer someplace, it gives you the work experience, and if the people like your work, then they'll do whatever they can to help you become a full-time employee.
Brenda, hi, it's Donnell with Maximart. Good, how are you doing? Good. Well, listen, I was just calling because, I've decided to try for some sales rep jobs with a few of the cosmetic companies. Yes, including LaBelle. And, well, I was just wondering if you'd mind if I used you as a reference. Oh, great. Thank you so much.
You'll also need personal references. Now, list people who know you well and can talk about how you work. Let them know about your job search ahead of time, and be sure they're comfortable taking calls from employers.
You look for people who are friendly and outgoing and can carry on a conversation with you. I like them to look at me when I'm talking. I look straight at you. I want you to look at me. Eye contact is very important, but to me, personality is important.
I guess the first thing you see, of course, would be their appearance.
We're selling clothes here, so if you come in tastefully dressed, that's a good start.
We also look for, depending on the job, the level of communication. Obviously, if a person walked up to you and said, hi, my name is so-and-so, and struck up a conversation, you could tell whether or not this person would probably have qualifications of a guest service agent versus a person who walked up and just handed you a filled out application.
I'd like an application for the position in the accounting department.
Oh, okay. Anyone you meet on your job search could be a potential boss or coworker, and their opinion of you will count.
Can I have 2 of those, please? I'd like to keep a copy for myself.
Sure.
Thank you. You wouldn't by any chance have a job description?
Always look your best. Be polite, be professional.
Thank you very much.
Don't I know you from someplace?
Yeah, I've been in here before with my Aunt Loretta Ritchie.
Do you have 2 applications so I can take one home?
I mean, did you just want a copy of what you put down? I can make a copy for you.
Oh, that would be great.
Okay, well, why don't you fill that out and then I'll copy and I'll have it. There you go.
When you fill out an application, you may want to make a copy and keep it with you in your notebook to refer to when you're filling out other applications.
One of the best ways to make sure you have your information with you is I took the worst application I filled out. It was 6 pages, and I asked them for an extra copy. I filled that out and I kept that with me, so that way whatever, I have yet to find an application yet that had as much information as this one asked for. So I use that, I carry that, and I make sure that I have my information with me, so that way applications ask for different things and you want to be prepared.
I filled in everything except vocational or trade training. I don't have either, so should I just leave that blank?
No, just write not applicable or NA. They hate it when you leave these forms blank.
Okay, NA. All right.
That's
There
it?
you go. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you very much for your help.
You're welcome.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What I'm looking for is someone who's dependable. Remember Larry? He'd call in every Monday with the flu. Yeah. Well, this time, I'm going to be careful. I'm checking out everything on anybody we pick. Anyone with experience put in there.
Here, can't even read this one.
Toss it. Here's a guy. He's got experience, but he hasn't had a job in 6 years. You know, there's some story there.
You know, what about this guy? He doesn't have any repair experience, but he took auto shop class at North High. Teacher seemed to like him. This letter here says he rebuilt a Dodge Dart.
Who is it?
Lamar Burns. You can even read this one.
Oh, yeah, that kid with the tie. Gave me that wrench. Oh, he was an eager kid. Well, I'm willing to train anyone who's willing to learn. Put him in the imp pile. This one's upside down.
This one's blank.
It's important to fill out every part of an application. If the question doesn't apply to you, write NA or not applicable. Some employers' first step is to scan applications to be sure they've been filled out completely. Incomplete forms are screened out immediately. Look over your application before you turn it in. Is it neat? Is it complete? Compare it to an application copy or resume in your notebook. Is the information accurate?
Both might have said they were in school for 3 years, and on the application it might be 2 years, or it might say they have this amount of credits and or a degree, and then we find out on the application they only have so many credit hours. So it's misleading. You really don't know till you get the person in and can review all the information they give you. I would suggest they bring an updated copy of their resume to the job interview, even though they've mailed one in. Usually we find people bring it in and you see them with the application, filling out the application with their resume, and when they complete the application, they attach the updated resume to the application.
An application is your first interview, and it's an employer's first chance to find out who you are. Don't make it their last. Present yourself in your best light. Look good. Be honest. What job you apply for is up to you. Be realistic about how your skills will be considered, but don't give up on finding a job you want to do.
It ends up being a win-win situation, because here it is, that person that I picked through dozens of resumes, and they're still here 5 years later, and they've made about 5 different job changes, all positive. And it gives you a good feeling.
Once they figure out they're here for themselves, they're not here for the family, because the family can't guide them through life. You know, they have to do it themselves. So once they get that understanding of it, then we can go on from there. And I do believe once they establish that within themselves, it can be accomplished. Truly it can. And we have a lot of success stories that come through here, and I'm proud, I'm thankful.
But no, we definitely, would consider anybody that is willing to work.
Do I check with you, or do I check with Ed, or?
Well, you can check with me first, and then I usually, because they might be involved in a job, I can ask them if there's anything and that you're calling in to find out. We don't have a big turnover here. Anybody willing to work, we're willing to train. So.
You're supposed to know what you're doing, right?
Yes,
You're telling me it's my fault the plants are dead. I don't buy it. Looks to me like it's bad nursery stock.
It's not the stock, it's the drainage runoff from the new wall.
Well, if you knew there was a problem here, why did you plant them here?
You told us you wanted them here.
I told you I wanted plants here, but you're supposed to figure out what'll grow here.
How are we supposed to know what you're going to do?
Just forget the whole thing.
Let me talk to Lyndon about it.
Talk to whoever you want, flower boy. I'm not going to pay for dead juniper. Which is what this is, dead.
If someone would send a letter to you, their initial letters are not harsh. They're not threatening. They basically just ask you to make the payment. And I feel that that's a good approach. It's just that Jeanette feels like, look, if they're 30 days late, they'll be 60. If they're 60, they'll be 90. We're going to send them a little note and tell them, get that money here. As a matter of fact, once Mother went behind my back
and wrote a letter that got the attention of the president of the company.
Yes, she did that. Mm-hmm.
Until the president of the company called her.
I'm saying, what letter? Oh, the letter you sent on such and such a day, not to her. Mommy, did you, I'm putting over the phone, did you send a letter? And so that's when Mother whips it out, that here's what you said. Oh, okay. Well, yes. So we were able to work things out, and though that might not have been my initial method, I was appreciative that Mother had taken that initiative, knife and all.
Business letters, memos, and reports are used to inform someone about something, explain something, or persuade someone to do something. Take a look at the workbook chapter on writing memos and letters for more information and exercises.
Really good writing can have a strong impact on many ways. Good writing will challenge, good writing can educate, and good writing can empower someone as well.
How'd it go at the Grand's place?
Well, I left before I hit him. That's a positive.
Raul, you have got to watch your temper around customers, man.
I thought we could talk it out.
And?
And I told him about the drainage problem, and he accused us of planting bad stock.
All right, how did you leave things with him?
He wants to forget the whole thing. He's never going to pay us.
You know we got to clear this up.
You know what? Maybe we should just take it all out like he wants. Yeah, I told him I'd I'd talk to you again and we'd get back in touch.
No. Let's just write him a letter so we can get it all said without anger.
What is the point of writing a letter?
Well, that's the first thing you've got to figure out, Raul.
What's to figure out?
I would rather write something than speak it, because you can always go back and change around what you've written, and you can't do that when you're talking to someone. It would be nice if you could, but when you're writing, you're in total control of the mood that you want to set, the tone that you're taking, and the ideas that you're getting across.
I think now it's running close to about 10 years ago when I was in corporate America and thought that I was fairly settled where I was, and came to work one day and had a little note that said, come upstairs, talk to the new president that had just come into the organization, and walked into a room, and it was a long table, and he sat at one end and wanted me to sit at the other end, and I told him, no, I'm going to sit right here. And so he very straightforward told me they're restructuring the hospital. They've made a number of changes, and one of them is that my particular job was now eliminated. After getting over the initial shock, you know, the initial pain of it all, and then I decided, I'm tired, and I'm not going to go the rest of my life having somebody else in control of me and my resources. I cannot do that. So I figured that if I could take my energies and deliver a product to some business or some organization, I could take my same energies and deliver a product for myself. When I went through the Women's Self-Employment Training Project, their number one emphasis for any business is that you have to have a business plan.
Most workplace writing begins with a need. As you approach any writing task, it's helpful to remember the writing process. Focus on your purpose. Consider your audience. Choose your format. Gather facts and information. Write a draft, revise and proofread your work, and distribute it.
Okay, Robin, you tell me, how would you want this to be resolved?
I just never want to see the guy again.
Oh, come on.
Okay, he fixes the drainage problem, and we replace the plants.
There, see? Now there's a proposal.
Okay, so now what?
Write it down.
Suppose you want to see it before I send it in.
I sure do.
Writing in the workplace serves a purpose. There's a problem to be solved, a need to be filled, some information to be passed on. Focus on your purpose throughout your writing process.
Determining the purpose of what it is that I'm writing is really critical, because the purpose is going to permeate everything that's in the written piece of work. For example, this brochure, the purpose of the brochure is to give information about services that we offer at a clinic. And if I am unclear about what it is that I'm trying to get across, I can't expect my reader to understand it.
The purpose of writing a business plan is, number one, so that you can physically see and feel where this business is beginning, where you want it to be maintained, and where you ultimately want it to go. It is your blueprint for the growth and evolution of this company, period. When I initially sat down to write the business plan, I was writing it for me to make sure that at completion, this is something that I still wanted to do. This is something that I still had faith in. This is something that I still had excitement about. So I wrote it for Glenda first. I'm the only one, as far as in the nursing department, that feeds into this computer. That's my job, is what I do. We got 14 days after a resident is admitted into this facility to come to this computer and feed in our information and print it out and get it onto the charts. The number one thing that makes it important is that it's how we take care of the resident. That's how we know the resident's condition. The state comes into your facility every year for a state survey. And when they come in, you better have them diagnosis on their MDS form, because that's what they mandate the facility to do.
Are you writing to your boss, a coworker, a client, a supplier? Who you're writing to may change what you say and how you say it. Your audience will influence your choice of format, how you distribute your work, even the words you choose.
Understanding who my audience is for a piece of work is critical to determining how I'm going to write and how I'm going to meet my purpose and get to my goal.
Anybody picking up this business plan, whether you have a financial interest in this company, whether you have a personal interest in this company, or you have a particular consumer interest in this company, i.e. your corporate ABC, and maybe you want to contract with this company in terms of providing services for some of your sales reps or whatever. This business plan will explain and will provide information for all of that.
I just got a voicemail message from Bloodworth. He got our memo about the Yippee Chew tagline. He wants to know what we made for the presentation. You know exactly what he has two of.
Okay, why are you telling me this?
He wants me to leave him a voicemail, and I thought you could help me figure out what to say.
Janice, I don't know what you made.
Well, I do. Warren gave me a list of what he made, and I know what I did.
Okay, well, why don't we write a draft of what you want to say?
A draft? Oh, okay, yeah.
Spoken words may not seem like writing, but even voicemail follows a format and leaves a record. Voicemail, email, and memos are usually used to communicate within a company. The format highlights who the message is to, who it's from, the date, and the subject. Communication with customers or clients often requires less casual formats like letters or reports. Longer reports may require additional structure for easy reading, such as a title page, a table of contents, a summary, or an appendix. Often the form your writing will take will be chosen for you, but when the choice is up to you, choose a format that's right for the task. Find a sample to follow and use it to help organize the facts you gather.
The business plan software that I purchased was basically a boilerplate for any business, whether you're Elan Private Coach or Microsoft. It didn't matter. It was so key because it breaks down every possible potential step that you may have to take in putting together your business. It helped to settle me, to calm me. It helped to manage my thoughts. It helped me to organize my steps. And it helped me to develop the particular areas for Elan Private Coach. You have a table of contents, which is part of the plan, so any particular area that they wanted to know more about or go right to, they knew exactly what page to turn to.
Sometimes you may be asked to contribute to a letter or report, or gather facts for a file. You may need to keep track of information from many sources and organize it in a way that makes it useful.
I talk to the resident, the family if they involved, if they come into the facility, the nursing assistants, the nurses, housekeeping, anybody who's involved with that person. I have to talk to that individual to get together all the data that I can to feed into this computer. I get input from all the nursing. I write it down on paper. Once I feed this information into the computer, then I check it off. That's just to tell myself, okay, this has already been done. This person is already done.
Okay, what do we got?
Maddie noticed a difference between the TV line This Doggone Hunt and the print line That Doggone Hunt. So I directed the staff to prepare 2 versions of all materials. I hope we weren't out of line, but we wanted you to be prepared at the presentation.
Okay, it's good, but do you need to say, I hope we weren't out of line?
No, what should I say? It was the art director's fault?
Well, you don't have to blame anybody. I mean, Bloodworth just asked what you did, right?
Yeah. Okay, I'll lose it. Okay. We made a version of the board for the 60-second TV spot This Dog and another for the 60-second spot That Dog. There were 2 30-second spots in the original request, which we prepared again with that dog making 4 30s. There was a 25-5 and 4 10s, which we again prepared both this way and that way. I don't know how to end it. It's so long.
What about, I hope this gives you all you need for the presentation.
That sounds good to me.
Whether it's a letter or it's a grant abstract, I like to make certain that my facts are in order. I find it's always best to not go simply on what someone else is saying. The reader's not going to go back to who I asked because they're looking at me as having the correct answers. So therefore, it's up to me to be absolutely sure that what I'm saying is true.
When you want to convince someone of something, facts are your best ammunition. So don't skimp. Gather all the facts. Take note of any information that may apply to your topic.
And I found through resources at the library and here on the internet that this is a huge market. I started asking cab drivers. I started asking other limousine drivers when I was at the airport. I started asking other small business owners, you know, who helps you with your bookkeeping, who helps you with your accounting.
When you write a draft, don't struggle over each word. Include a sentence that summarizes what you're writing about, and be sure to state clearly what action you want taken or results you'd like to see.
The first draft of my business plan was just that, a draft, okay? And it took me maybe 2 months just to do the draft. Because initially, starting out, you really don't know what is best to write. Basically, for me, I just wanted to get down ideas. I wanted to get down ideas, and I wanted to get down information flow. It took me all of 2 months to write it, but it only took me 2 or 3 days to pitch it and start writing something else.
How's that letter coming?
I don't know. It still sounds like I'm mad.
Yeah? Let me hear.
Dear Mr. Grimes, you didn't inform us that you would be building a wall in the area where the juniper would be planted. We were not aware that a drainage problem might occur.
Okay, I see where you're going with this, but I wouldn't start off by accusing him first. I mean, you'll lose him before he even begins to read what you propose.
Maybe I could start with what we found.
Yeah, okay.
We made the problem worse by fertilizing plants in stress.
Mm-hmm. So even though he built the wall, you're still part of the responsibility.
Yeah, that's the point. We can replace the juniper with a shrub that tolerates wet feet, or we can consult with your builders about providing drainage so we can replace the dead plants with new juniper at no charge to you.
See, now that's what I've been waiting for, the solution. See, and you give him 2 choices, too. That's good.
Well, I put that no charge in. Yeah. I figured it would be cheaper to replace a few juniper than to take everything out and not get paid.
All right, you're starting to think like a real businessman there, Raul.
When I'm writing, I really like to get input from other people. I feel that helps me stay away from that very focused, only one way to do it kind of approach. And I think that when I get input from others, it helps make me a better writer.
Good writing comes from rewriting. After you have a complete draft, read it over. Does it make sense? Is there extra information your reader can do without? Have you included everything you need to say?
I changed the part about blaming him for the drainage. Instead, I say, we found the juniper failed because of excessive moisture along the west wall. This problem developed after planting was completed.
That's much better. And I like what you added here about customer satisfaction. Please feel free to suggest any alternative if either of these options don't satisfy you. That's very good.
Well, I spell checked it. Is the grammar okay?
Well, it looks nice on the letterhead. I think it's really Raul.
We start identifying buzzwords. Buzzwords that are pertinent to a business plan in general. We want to make sure we use the word market. We want to make sure we use the word strategy is appropriate. We want to use vision and management. I start identifying buzzwords. Sometimes I would have to go and refer to some other business plans, see what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, then pick mine back out. One word, or let's just say 2 words together that we constantly had to go to were the words market analysis. Funders always want to know, when was the last time you checked on your market? Do they still have the need today that they may have had yesterday? Oh. Projections. Simple word, okay? But to bankers, it is everything. What are your projections?
I need to be able to get away for a little bit and think about it and think about new approaches, and I come back better. And I can do my writing in a better way, and I can explore different ideas.
The revision process for a business plan, it's going to be long, it's going to be detailed, but I would say that that is going to be your testing ground right then and there, if you're going to be tough enough to continue on, because going over and over, it can get redundant, it can be frustrating, and you can very easily just put it down and never pick it up. So that'll be your proving ground.
When you're happy with your revision, have someone else read it over to see if it makes sense. Fresh eyes can often see something you might have missed. And don't forget to proofread it for grammar and spelling.
Even though we do have spell check on the computer, I rely like 1,000% on her keen ability to proofread, because spell check can't catch up with commas and quotes and wrong words, totally inappropriate words, that kind of thing. So, and it takes time to do that, but we made it through.
When you're satisfied with what you've written, send it out. Your purpose can only be served if your message reaches its target audience. So sign it, seal it, stamp it, however you do it, get it on its way.
Everywhere that business plan went, I went personally. It initially went to the Women's Self-Employment Project, 2 or 3 copies there. The second one went to Motor Credit, because the very first vehicle that I wanted, that's who was financing it. Though I had business plan in hand, I had pre-agreed contracts in hand, that meant nothing to them. They want to know, but where's your job? This is my real job. Well, young lady, one of the things that I might suggest that you do is maybe look at a used vehicle or come back after you get a real job.
It's very, very hard for women to get loans.
Yes, it is.
Just because you are a woman.
That's very true.
Yeah. Number one. And number two things, it doubles when you are a black woman.
Yes. Oh, well, I was saying that without saying it.
Yeah, I know.
I was
There's
saying,
only one way
yes.
to say it. Just say it.
I was
like
saying
it is.
that without saying it. Yeah. So I went to a resource that had been offered to me. So I went down one day before the loan committee. I had the accounting person here, who was all numbers. Then I had the person who's looking at the entire year's forecast. Okay, well, you forecast a surge here, and then you forecast like a decline here. Can you explain that? Then I had the marketing person. How are you going to market? Where are you going to market? Where's the money going to come from? How are you going to actually evaluate your marketing? So it was 6 people that I actually had to please.
The final step is to get it out to the people who are going to read it. And distribution, in a way, is like giving birth. At that point, you can just sort of sit back and take a lot of input, and I find that I always start thinking, okay, I'm going to have to do this again sometime soon, and what am I going to do differently, and how can I make this better?
Oh, did you hear the news? Bloodworth presented both campaigns.
Both?
Mm-hmm. This dog or that dog. You make the call.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not. The client wants to combine them. Bloodworth got the idea when he saw the memo. We're heroes, girl.
The next day, I got a call, and they asked me for 2 additional pieces of information. I can't remember specifically what it was. And then by 3 o'clock that afternoon, I got another call, and they told me the loan had been approved, and I could come down the next day, 12 o'clock, sign the papers, and pick up the check. So that's exactly what I did. I beat it down there the next day. As a matter of fact, I think I had Mother waiting for me, and the ink on the check wasn't dry. I'm fanning it, and I rushed right out to the dealer and picked up Miss Elon.
I got a call from Grimes today.
Oh, no. What does he want now?
All he wants our help in redirecting his drainage, so that we can replace the plants with whatever we advise.
So the letter worked?
Mm-hmm. He even wants us to landscape his new development over at Wood Point.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So that means I gotta talk to him again?
Well, I figured like that letter you wrote to him said that you were serious.
I feel like I gave it my best shot.
Well, you know what that means, don't you?
Yeah, I deserve a raise.
Well, maybe, Flower Boy, but first you have to help me write the proposal for the job at Wood Point.
Writing at the workplace is writing to get results. The more you practice writing on the job, the more you'll see the power of the written word. Develop a writing process that will help you express yourself in your work.
Words are really powerful, and what you say is really a little piece of yourself.
That business plan, when you finish it, it is a tremendous sense, it provides you a tremendous sense of accomplishment because you have accomplished something. You've actually taken something from nothing and you have involved it. And this is what's going to work for you. Now you've got your product and you can go on.
I feel that when I do my job properly, that I can really have an impact on someone else's life. And that is something that really can make a difference. And I go home knowing that I haven't just done something that's moved papers around for no reason, but when we've completed, say, an evaluation, when we make recommendations, those are things that are going to influence someone potentially for the rest of his or her life.
In being self-employed, you know, it takes a lot. It takes belief, it takes commitment, but it takes fortitude. And sometimes, depending on different circumstances, that fortitude can be broken.
Persevere.
You know, absolutely, it does take it takes perseverance too. And so I just realized that in writing the plan, I'm going forward. There are going to be some challenges, but I'm going forward. I know I'm going to have a challenge maybe in marketing. I'm going to have a challenge maybe in research and development. I'm going to have a challenge maybe in advertising. I may have a challenge in finance, but I'm going forward because this is something that I want to do, and this is something that I believe in.
This is PBS,